Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia regular meeting at 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York, on this November 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I'm Mayor Mike Ferguson. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Take roll. Trustee Esperson.
Here.
Trustee Twitchell.
Here.
Trustee Brockler.
Here.
Trustee Wendell.
Here.
Trustee Syracuse is excused from tonight's meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of minutes.
Whereas members of this board have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting of October 27th, 2025, and be it resolved that the board hereby approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Thank you. A couple of things I want to talk about briefly before we get into the public portion, very briefly. We had I want to thank the people who finished off Route 20 and have gotten that lined, and there's still some light work to be done. I think the snow kind of disrupted a little bit. But the crosswalks are back in place. I was going to have this presentation tonight available, but I didn't get it to Chip, so that's my fault, not Chip's fault. But we recorded probably 20 crossing incidents where the public has not stopped for residents to cross the street. In fact, on a number of them, the resident got halfway across the street and was caught as traffic continued to drive past. We are working on that. Trustee Esperson came back with a great idea from the last NICOM meeting, where we would have flashing yellow lights, but nonetheless, it is the law across the United States of America, not just in New York State. And God forbid that anybody get hurt at any time. But with the holidays and the icy roads coming up, please, please, please be aware. When people are waiting to cross the road, they have the right, and you must stop and allow them to cross. And I will repeat that ad nauseum until we start to get that right. So I will have that video for you in our next meeting, and we'll get that done. Dr. Townsend and Twan Leanders, I was going to have them speak tonight. Because of the weather and they have some other prep work that they want to do, they will be presenting at our next regular board meeting. This opens up the public portion. Before we go into the public portion, I want to remind everybody to review the board's expectations and protocols for the meeting and public comment. Typically, a reminder is read prior to the public portion of the meeting, which includes a request that speakers refrain from remarks not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board this evening. Please know that the village board is not legally required to permit public to speak at board meetings or hold public comment, although meetings must be open to the public under open meetings law. A board meeting is not a meeting of the public, but rather a meeting held in public, so those in attendance can observe the board discussing and conducting business. The board does permit public comment. The comment period is limited public forum. The board can limit the topics of public comment tonight and moving forward to ensure the efficiency of the board and village business. Public comment can be limited to items on the board's agenda for that specific meeting. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes speaking for themselves, 5 meetings of speaking on behalf of a legitimate group. Please note that the obscenities, defamatory statements, threats of violence are not protected by the First Amendment, will not be permitted during public comment. In addition, we ask that all individuals conduct themselves in a civil and respectful manner. Anyone engaging in disruptive activities such as shouting or outbursts will be addressed accordingly. If there are disruptions, we may be forced to close the public comment or remove disruptive individuals. Thank you very much. Sam, were you a speaker tonight?
Yes.
You're on, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Board. I have 3 resolutions that I have concerns about. The first one
is the one regarding the approval of the abstracts, showing the overtime payrolls and bills approved by the Finance Committee. Those abstracts are not attached to the resolution, and they should be. The newspaper, the news media, and the people have a right to see those without having to go to Village Hall and pick up a copy. It wouldn't take much to staple those abstract of bills to the resolution so the public can see what their money, where their money is going. With the 54% increase in taxes creating a hardship on many of our residents, the people are entitled, our taxpayers, to see what their money, where their money is being spent. I also notice that there has not been a detailed plan presented to the village board explaining why there was a 54% increase. And I haven't seen any plan adopted by the board to create an austerity budget. Nothing. Second resolution that I have concerns about is the one that authorizes a letter by the mayor to be signed, a letter of intent to the New York State Department of Health regarding the proposed water infrastructure. I assume this letter concerns the proposed connection to the North County Water District. The letter of intent that the mayor is authorized to sign is not attached to the resolution. That should be attached to the resolution so that people know what it says. And so the news media can report it to their public. The third concern I have, and the last one, is the resolution concerning the possible sale of village-owned Glasgow Park, asking publicly for persons to inform the village board if they are interested in purchasing. This resolution contains misleading statements and incorrect assumptions. Glasgow Park, as we know, adjoins Cassadaga Lake, which is a supply of water regulated by the state of New York. The village has used Glasgow Park in the past as an emergency source of water for the reservoir. Although the village's use of Glasgow Park was quite a few years ago, that's not reason to sell it. Glasgow Park is the village's protection or insurance from a serious drought that could significantly impact the village's ability to fight fires and pose a serious threat to the public supply of our water. Ask your own selves if you would cancel your own personal life insurance policy because you haven't used it for many years. The time period of non-use is not relevant to the insurance Cassadaga Lake affords our residents in case of severe drought and emergency involving public health. Can I have a couple minutes to finish this, or a minute?
We do one more minute, Sam, please.
Yeah. The health department has recognized this in the past. In fact, the regulations, New York State regulations say the following actions with respect to water withdrawal are exempt from permit requirements of Part H. What's exempt is withdrawal used for fire protection or other emergency purposes. So the Glasgow Park should stay in village ownership. If you're concerned about raising some money, that's not a good reason. What would have been a good reason to raise money would have been the PPD sewer district, where we're losing $40,000 or $20,000 a quarter. And over the 5-year period of that PPD district, we're losing $400,000. All we had to do was raise the rate to the same rate that we charge our own residents. And Trustee Esperson, you blame Jim Sedota, or mentioned him at the last time this topic came up. Jim Sedota's not here to defend himself, but I can tell you he would be against that.
All I said was he negotiated the contract.
Now, I don't think he negotiated.
He did negotiate the contract.
Yeah, that was a board decision, and it was an incorrect decision. And you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars by not raising that rate to at least the same rate charged to village residents. That was a big mistake.
Okay, Sam, thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to speak? Just your name, you don't have to, we're not mentioning streets or anything.
Okay, Catherine Elder. I'm commenting on the, if I can find it now, my phone just went, pull it up. On the second resolution, where you're getting a grant for $5 million and getting interest-free for $12,500,000, which is absolutely lovely. We all know we need our water system fixed. The problem is you don't have an ADA coordinator or a grievance plan, so you're not ADA compliant. So even if someone else applies for this grant for you, unfortunately, you can't get the money till you are. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends tonight's public portion of comments. I do have correspondence given to me by Festivals Fredonia as they present Miracle on Main Street. I'll read it as written. Fun week of shopping, day of miracles and family fun and shopping throughout the Village of Fredonia. Festivals Fredonia Annual Miracle on Main Street Festival is set for Saturday, December 6th from 10 a.m. till 7. And a great small business week with Miracle on Main Street. Free movie, must be accompanied by adult, generously sponsored by Chautauqua, Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union in the 1891 Opera House, featuring the Polar Express. Join us for the official lighting of the tree by Santa Claus at the gazebo in Barker Commons. Celebrate all the miracles of the holiday season in downtown Fredonia, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. Come to town this special day with activities and fun times for the kids, whole family, including caroling, the official village holiday tree lighting, food vendors and craft vendors starting at 10 a.m. in the Fredonia First Methodist Church, 25 Church Street. Breakfast with Santa at 9 a.m. at Domus Fair. Lunch with Santa at 11:30 a.m. at DeJohn's Italian Spaghetti House. And gingerbread decorating starting at 11 o'clock at the White Inn, sponsored by the Cakery. Basket raffle, shopping, and more. The miracles throughout the day include the miracle of sharing with the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign, the miracle of the holidays, Santa lighting the tree at 6 p.m., the miracle of giving, all of the community organizations who selfishly give their time and talents to the festival, the miracle of generosity, all of those who generously support festivals throughout the year, and the miracle of life, supporting your local bud drive. The festival and event kicks off at 10 a.m. with activities throughout the village. Fredonia First Methodist Church, the White Inn, Next Chapter Bookstore, Christ Community Church, the 1891 Opera House, Performing Arts Center, Darwin R. Barker Library and Museum, DeJohn's Italian Spaghetti House, and Domus Fair. Story time with Santa for youngsters at Darwin R. Barker Library. Story time with Mrs. Claus at Next Chapter Bookstore. They'll have craft vendors, pictures with Santa, a gingerbread decorating, kids' crafts set up in the Fredonia First Methodist Church, the White Inn, and the bookstore, respectively, starting at 10 a.m. Santa will take place from 2 until 4. We're hosting a basket raffle at First Methodist Church as well. Food vendors, wineries in Barker Commons, as well as family-friendly menus at Domus Fair, DeJohn's Italian Spaghetti House. Santa will also be arriving at Domus Fair from 10 until noon, 11:30 until 1:30 at DeJohn's Spaghetti House. Free movie at 4 o'clock, followed by the tree lighting at 6 o'clock in Barker Common. Santa ends his visit at 4 o'clock at the Methodist Church, but returns at 6 to light the official Christmas tree of the village. They want to thank their sponsors and their donors, including Tim Hortons, Southern Chautauqua FCU, Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, the Fredonia Beaver Club, DFT Communications, Harvest Chapel Free Methodist Church, Christ Community Church, and Fredonia First Methodist Church. Thanks to SUNY Fredonia Women's Soccer Team for their help and support. And for more information, a list of events and times, please go to festivalsfredonia.org. There is talk about a possible parade, small parade, as they've had in the past. That has not been presented with this. I've asked them to send us that when possible. And before we go any further, I do want to thank the young people at Fredonia State University in the pouring rain. I know they didn't have a chance to get to everybody yesterday, but I had a chance to speak to them and thank them. Huge, huge crowd, and probably 3 times the number of students that we had from last year. And unfortunately, it always ends up being a rainy day, but thank you. They went out and swept up leaves throughout the downtown corridor, and we're very appreciative of their help and their consideration and their willingness to help. With that, we'll go to reports. Trustee Brockler.
Nothing right now.
Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, I'd like to start out by saying happy 250th birthday to the Marine Corps, and happy Veterans Day tomorrow to all my fellow veterans, especially those that are employed with the village. Thursday, we'll be having another arbitration hearing with the fire union. We'll be doing DPW supervisor interviews scheduled for Thursday with Trustee Wandel, from the Personnel Committee and Trustee LeBeau. We met with the county officials, PPSD,
Treasurer.
the mayor, treasurer, Trustee Wendell. We exchanged ideas. We exchanged our individual contracts. We could look them over, and we will be scheduling another meeting. The first CSEA contract discussion meeting happened when we exchanged proposals. We've scheduled another meeting in a couple weeks. We met with Labella, Department of Health, Mayor, Treasurer, Trustee Wandel, and myself to plan the next steps, set a proposed timeline for the water project. And then we met with the Town of Pomfret, Department of Health, try to synchronize our timelines regarding shared water tower and what it'll look like when the Town of Pomfret goes offline with our water system. And that's all I've got.
Trustee Switchell.
Yes, I did want to make a comment about what Trustee Esperson had just talked about meeting with Labella and about moving that water project forward. I just want to remind you that we do have an Article 78 filed against the village.
Fully aware.
And we do have to wait for the outcome of that.
No, we don't.
And please don't interrupt me.
Okay?
And I'd like to add on the resolution requesting the mayor to sign that loan or the grant. I would like to add the sentence pending the outcome of Article 78, which was filed against the village. I feel that it's right that we let the state know that we do have a lawsuit against the village, and I don't believe that we can move on any of these items that Trustee Esperson just mentioned until after the outcome of that Article 78. And I would also like to thank the students for coming and raking the leaves in the pouring rain. I know I put some apples and candy out on my porch for the students, and unfortunately, it always seems to be a rainy day for those students, but they did a wonderful job, and I'd like to thank them for that. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Speaking of that, the village is continuously going around the neighborhoods sucking up leaves. It's been a challenge this year because we've had a couple of days where we've had over 40-mile-an-hour winds. And I know in our neighborhood, just as you get them piled up, they end up all over the neighborhood again. But be patient. They're doing their best to get around, and we want to thank Doug and his team for doing all of that. Any addition? No treasurer's report tonight, as Treasurer LeBeau is not here.
Trustee Wandel.
Trustee Wandel. Hey, how you doing? You're up, my friend.
Thank you. Committee report from October 28th to today, November 10th. Got a few things going on here. On Tuesday, October 28th, I met with Dr. Townsend, Antoine Leaders, and the mayor to discuss forestation in the village-owned forest surrounding our reservoir. The emphasized thinking and direction was that forestation would have too great of an environmental impact in the immediate area. Alternative solutions were offered. So this was just pure discussion at this point. On Thursday, October 30th, I attended a PPD contract meeting regarding the village contract agreement with representatives of the contract agencies. Most details of the contract were agreed upon, except the actual premium rate the village would charge the district users. A future meeting is required to finalize the agreement. On Wednesday, November 5th, I met with representatives from the Chautauqua County Department of Health, Labella, and the mayor, along with Trustee Esperson. General discussion was to discuss the Department of Health consent order for Fredonia Village in regards to our water treatment facility and existing current citations. Next steps for the water project include developing a strategic plan with dates for moving forward with the water project. The village will prep and release an RFQ for Alternative 2 engineering work. This will allow the village to interview engineering companies. We will interview firms, next select a firm and identify the fee structure. Regarding the size and scope of the project and the RFQ preparation, Labella will assist the village with go-by RFQs. Project timelines. They include issuing RFQ and allow 2 to 3 weeks for responses. Potentially, the board will review and vote on this November 24th. I think that's our next board meeting. Aligning project timelines with the town of Pomfret and the Water District. Potentially early February for kickoff meetings regarding scope of work, project permitting, about 7 months to complete that process. This leads to the summer of 2026 for the completion of preliminary and basis of design work. Collateral with these efforts is potential additional project funding sources from WIA and IMP. As higher government agencies are monitoring our project, these activities will demonstrate the village's serious and earnest efforts to launch, maintain, and complete the water interconnect project. Later on Wednesday, November 5th, same day, November 5th, I met with representatives from Labella at our wastewater treatment plant, along with Supervisor David Felt. Discussion was focused on potential utilization of our recent $50,000 EFC grant for an engineering study at the wastewater plant. What are the current plant high impact and priority needs? How can we best align those needs with potential grant funding, which all would be based on a thorough, comprehensive engineering study in 2026, next year. A study would initiate an overall condition assessment and the existing treatment processes. Also considered are grant phasing opportunities. Additionally, Wendell Engineering from Buffalo, who has serviced the engineering needs of our wastewater treatment plant in the past, has expressed sincere interest in submitting an RFP with board consideration later this month. They may also assist the village in obtaining additional funding grants. On Thursday, November 6th, I met with Chautauqua County Department of Health and the North County Water District representatives, along with the Town of Pomfret representatives, with Trustee Esperson and Mayor Ferguson to discuss initial planning for the water interconnect project. Topics and agenda items include a shared water tower with the town, specifically its size and exact location, as well as sizing of pump and PRV stations in the village. The water storage tank location would need to coordinate with the Pomfret Town Phase 2 project, with potential construction beginning in the spring of 2026. This meeting emphasized the critical need of close coordination between the village, town, and the water district. It is about timing, synchronization, and detail coordination. The next meeting is set for Friday, December 5th at 10 a.m. And lastly, today I was informed with an update on our village water treatment plant chlorination project. The supervisor had relayed to me that the concrete base and the protecting ballards for the exterior chlorine storage tank has been poured. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Before I get into the additional reports, we also want to remind people, I had a note here, that winter parking rules are now in effect. So make sure you follow those for your various neighborhoods. If you're unsure, give us a call or go online and you can check it out. Fire Department report for September 2005. Mr. Mayor and Board of Trustees, the Fredonia Fire Department responded to 198 calls for service during the month of September 2025. Of the above noted, 198 calls during this reporting month where emergency medical response contributed to 141 of them. The cost recovery for the month of September 2025 is as followed. $52,301.97 received through EMS billing. $225 for dedicated bonfire standby for Fredonia Central Schools, $200 for a dedicated EMS standby for SUNY Fredonia Hockey Club, $2,250 for a dedicated EMS standby for Fredonia Central Schools football season, $9,089.60 assigned to our collections agency for EMS building, The total revenue for September 2025 is $64,066.57. A breakdown of the above information is available in the attached reports. Always available to answer any questions you may have, respectfully submitted on October 28th, 2025 by Joshua T. Myers, Chief of Department, Fredonia Fire Department. And the report is attached to this. Breakdown of EMS calls were total medical service calls, 141. Total number of pre-hospital care reports, 149. Transports from village to the town, 99. Total number of patients transported by WCA from town and village, 2. Total transports by the Fredonia Fire Department, 97. Total advanced life support calls, 18. Local BLS calls, 131. Total transports by the Fredonia Fire Department for mutual aid were 5. EMS mutual aid responses, 7. Total number of transports received from another fire agency, 0. Simultaneous EMS calls were 35. And there's also a breakdown of the day-to-day here as well. The Village of Fredonia Justice Court report presented by Judge Michael R. Seary and Nancy A. Dietzen to the Village Board. Dear Board members, the following is report for the month of October 2025. Total number of cases closed, 150. 100 vehicle and traffic, 44 criminal cases, 5 village ordinances. 1 civil case, 0 ABC laws, and 0 New York State laws. Total fines and surcharge were $5,886. Total parking fines, $300, for a total of $6,186. Sincerely, Michael R. Seary, Village Justice, and Nancy A. Dietzen, Associate Justice. And we thank everybody for their reports. I do want to go back to and just remind everybody that when you're talking about doing your leaves, you cannot blow them into the street. They have to be kept neatly on your property right by the curb. Can't go into the streets, believe it or not. It is slippery for traffic, whether it's bicycles, motorcycles, or cars, and it's much harder for them to suck it up off the street than it is to take it right off the side of your lawn. So we appreciate your cooperation on that. Resolutions.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstracts numbers 783 through 786 are hereby approved and directed, paid, and available in the village clerk's office, 9 to 11 Church Street, Fredonia, New York.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia placed the water infrastructure project on the intended use plan, IUP, of 2026, and whereas the 2025 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, IIJA, formerly known as the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, BIL, General Supplemental GS, selected the village's project from the IUP listing, a breakdown of the cost attached. Whereas the village is eligible for a IIJA/BIL GS grant award of up to $5 million and interest-free financing the amount of $12,500,000 through the DWSRF Base Hardship Program for up to 30 years. Therefore, be resolved, the board authorizes the mayor to accept the funding awarded by signing the intent to proceed and returning to the Department of Health.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Nay.
Trustee Brockler. Oh, I said Brockler. Trustee Wendell.
Aye. Be it resolved that Christopher Morgan of Silver Creek, New York, 14063, is hereby appointed as full-time water operator trainee with the Village of Fredonia Water Treatment Plant, effective November 13, 2025, at a rate of $19.13 per hour, with a probation term of 6 months, adhering to all civil service rules and regulations.
Second?
Before we take the vote, I want to remind people that this is another replacement of a loss they're already down. I think, if I'm correct, 3 people in
Is it 2 or 3?
water, 2 or 3
believe
people.
there's down
So this is
3.
replacing one of those people.
Yeah.
So we have a second from Trustee Esperson. Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye. Be resolved, Fire Chief Josh Meyer is authorized to attend the Career Fire Chiefs Meeting in Albany, New York, November 18th to 19th, not to exceed $400.
I'll second that.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye. Whereas the Village of Fredonia owns property on Glasgow Road in the town of Pomfret, whereas the property, SBL number 0658889-181-00-2-1 is 43.10 acre, whereas properties that have been used by the Village of Fredonia has not been in use for many years, therefore be it resolved, the mayor is hereby authorized to list the property located at SBL 0658889-181.00-2-1 on Glasgow Road in the town of Pomfret to receive interest from potential purchasers and whether it would be beneficial to the village to sell the property.
Second.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
With great reluctance and with the understanding that it's a tough hill to get me to approve an actual sale. But for information purposes, I'll say aye.
Trustee Wendell?
I would concur with trustee Brackler, but I will vote aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
I believe that an appraisal was needed on this property so we could compare the cost.
That's essentially what this is, actually.
Well, it doesn't say appraisal, though. It says, this doesn't make sense to me. You're putting the cart before the horse, and I will vote nay on it.
Okay, thank you. Is there any reason to?
Also, for the reasons that Mr. Dreo pointed out, that body, that land connects to Cassadaga, and we have used that water before, and I think it's really important to keep that parcel of land for the Village of Fredonia for a backup.
Is there any other reason to go
There's a
into?
walk-on resolution.
There is a walk-on, you're right.
walk-on.
There's a walk-on resolution tonight.
I can read that.
Go right ahead.
Whereas the village had pump failure at the pump station located on Chautauqua Road on Saturday, November 8, 2025, and whereas the homeowner, Courtney Nordine of 42 Chautauqua Street, had back up into the basement of her home due to the pump failure, and whereas the village is responsible for the maintenance of the pump station, therefore be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes the cleaning of the basement at 42 Chautauqua Street for damages caused by the pump station pump failure.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Is there any reason to go into executive session at this time? If not, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next meeting of the Village of Fredonia Board of Trustees workshop will take place Wednesday, November 19th, 2025 at 9 a.m. The Board of Trustees meeting on November 24th at 6 p.m. in this very room, Trustees Room, second floor, Village Hall Board meeting. Have a great night. Be safe.